What's up, everybody? Welcome to 15 Minutes to Fame. I am mikO Tolliver. This is my podcast where we talk about how I use 15-minute spurts to maintain consistency and longevity and pursue my artist hustle. Check it out. You see this here. You see my Kitty Perm logo right there. Whenever you see Kitty Perm, that is me. For those of you guys who are listening instead of watching it, go look up my Kitty Perm logo. In fact, go visit www.kittyperm.com. You can find more about how I have done music. I got a guitar booklet. That's like my publishing name. It started actually as a band that I had, and I just kind of kept it from then. I was giving lessons to this kid. She painted this little thing for me. So, yeah. Anyway. Like I said, 15 Minutes to Fame here, rocking out. This is the 4th episode. This podcast was kind of my New Year's resolution. And I have this theory is that as soon as you think up your New Year's resolution, you have to start it immediately. You can't be like, I'm going to wait until January 1st and then get it going. That's not how it works. So now I got 4 podcasts here in the 4 episodes here in the book. Is it in the book or is it in the tank? I'm here with my boy Cole. You can't see him, but he's behind here. He's helping me out. I'm glad that he's here because today I want to talk about just collaborating and building a network, which is what I've been working on all year. So today is 15 minutes of how to build a network. Again, want to remind you to please subscribe, follow me, check me out on social media, follow this podcast so you can always get updates for new episodes. But let's talk about collabing. Let me tell you what kind of whirlwind year I had. And check out the sweater for those of you watching. For those of you just listening, I have on one of those ugly Christmas sweaters when it's the Grinch. The Grinch is actually kind of my thing. I'm not super huge into Christmas, more because I grew up like mad poor. So it kind of, there's a trauma there. But as I've gotten older and gotten less poor, I've been able to kind of build my own traditions. So I do have like a live Christmas tree. You can't see it, it's behind us, but it's nice. I got this ugly sweater that I break out every single year. And like I said, I am kind of a Grinch. Not too hardcore, but come the end of the Christmas holiday season, I'll be like, all right, I'm in the mood. So I'm not going to go around and steal anything from you. But this is a great episode today to talk about collaborating. And like I said, at the beginning of this year, so almost 1 year ago, we're in December now. But in February, I actually got laid off from my job. I worked as the interim programming coordinator for a nonprofit that shall not be named. It's a little side note. The GM from that nonprofit is going to be my co-host pretty soon in some episodes coming up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I got laid off. Was I super sad about it? No. Not because I'm like, I'm rolling in it, so I'll do it. You take this job, you shove it. No, that's not what happened. Although, check it out. They did give me a going away party, and I did play that song in there. This year for me has totally been about rejection is redirection. I know that's something that people say that's easily like that. That's more of my toxic positivity comments. But the thing about once I found out I was getting laid off, I had about a month left. And I was supposed to be training people of these are some of the tasks that I was doing. And I found myself with kind of some free time on my hands at the radio station because I was like, all right, I'm going to be laid off. So people were coming to me, well, what about this project? And I was like, that's a month away. I won't be here. What about this project? That's 6 months away. I won't be here. What about this? I won't be here. Go to your new person. And so it left me with a lot of open time. And I was able to get right away on what was going to be my next step. Same thing, just as I talked about in the episodes before. I started out with a plan. I wrote it out. My biggest thing was actually I wanted to be a motivational speaker. That is a white whale for me. That is something I really want to do. And I mean not just here giving you my toxic positivity over the podcast, but I mean on the stage talking. I want to put together a whole show of motivational speaking and helping people achieve their dreams in their career. But yeah, so I was able to get to it right away. I started with a plan. I wrote out, okay, actually, here was my plan. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to need new headshots. And if I'm going to need new headshots, I got to reach out to my makeup artist. I got to reach out to my hairstylist. I need to get my hair done. That was fun. I got some new headshots. I went and I dipped into my savings, updated my website because I'm like, well, now I got to have a new web presence. I got to throw these new photos onto that web presence. I went and joined to different websites, platforms, reaching out, what can I do? How can I get there? What's my next step for my next move? Being a motivational speaker. What's my next step for just what's going to be my next career? Because granted, yes, I do want to be a motivational speaker. I do find that to be something that's very lucrative that I know I would want to do. I want to do it too because I feel like it incorporates all the things that are really on brand for me, which are teaching, which I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, I am a dope ass teacher. I'm not even trying to be arrogant about that. I really am because I love learning. I love helping people figure out stuff. But also when I was a kid, my grandmother was just like, you're meant to be a teacher. And I was like, that's not rock and roll. So this side of it is that I actually like performing. I like being on stage. I like putting a show together, putting an event together, entertaining people. That's really fun. So that's kind of how I've merged that goal of being a motivational speaker. So like I said, got the photo shoot, updated my website. Go visit my website, www.mikotolliver.com. And I just updated everything. What was actually kind of cool was I feel like I'm at a point now in my career where I have done enough things where I'm like, I know what to do. It was different when I first started out, like as a teenager. I want to be a musician. What do I do? I didn't know what to do. Everything I was trying was something maybe I saw in a movie or I don't know, who knows, whatever. But yeah, trying it on stage. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, who knows. But at this point I have done some things where I'm like, okay, I know for sure this does work. I worked at a radio station as a manager up the chain, helping other people produce their shows. I know what works. I've worked with people who have nationally syndicated shows, giving me tips. I know some things that work. I know how to do some things, and that feels really good. The next thing was, after putting that plan together and getting myself together, what my look is going to be, is going out and taking it to the people. And a big thing about, yes, you can put a plan together, you can adjust those plans based on what's needed, but really is, how do you work with other people, collaborating? And I don't want you to just think of it in terms of just how am I at this team on this one project? We work together on this. There's actually more things of being able to collaborate with people. And I feel like your ability to not micromanage, to be open-minded, to communicate in particular ways, to go out and to get into the mix, go out to different events, different parties and stuff like that. These are all different ways of collaborating. I've got some tricks. One of my favorite tricks that I love to give to people is, if you want to meet people, you don't know what to do, especially as you get, as you're an adult, you get older, it gets harder and harder to make friends. One of my biggest tricks, though, and this works for anybody and everybody, I always say, go take a community college class. And here's why it is the best thing. One, it's super cheap, mad cheap, probably almost free, depending on where you live, where you're at. But I would say take a community college class in something you're interested in, and then also a skill that's already yours. Maybe that class is just a refresher because things always change. But in that class, you are going to meet people that you can start working with. You can meet new friends. You can meet people to date. I don't know how you do that, but whatever your boundaries are. But then also, the instructor is probably working in that field. So that's a great time for you to learn some more skills. And then for that instructor to probably see your ability, your work ethic, how you work well with others. And they might actually put you on. You love this phrase, put you on. I'm going to put you on. I love that phrase. We put me on, help you get some work. So that is one way that you can advance. Another thing, so yes, I did take some community college classes. In fact, actually, I know you see my guitar up here, right here. This guitar is actually the first guitar that I ever had. My dad gave that to me on my 16th birthday. So it's special, which is why it hangs by itself. I know we've taken a few other shots with some of my other guitars in the background. This is the one that started it all. But I took some music classes. I took a violin class. I have been trying to learn violin off and on for years, a long time. This part is easy because this part I'm showing with my left hand, which is my fretting hand, is easy because it's just like guitar. But the right hand with the bow, sounds horrible. So I took a violin class. And the cool thing about that class is the instructor was a really cool guy. He's studied for, I think he said he's been studying since like the 80s professionally as a violinist. But then he pitched me, hey, come take this Afro-Cuban orchestra that I'm doing. All right, great. I signed up for that class. Now I got 2 classes. I'm meeting more people. I got to talk to some folks. You start to see some people who like, hey, mikO, you play guitar. I play violin. You want to play together? That's one thing. I meet some people who go, oh, I met this girl, great guitar, or great violinist, but she was horrible at music theory. And I was like, I got you. Help me on my violin. I'll help you with the music theory. So you don't see what I'm saying? Collaborating. That's a way to collaborate. Some other things I've gone to some mixers. I've gone to all kinds of mixers this year. I've gone to mixers for video programming and film. I've gone to mixers for, I think I went to the Chamber of Commerce for women in business. I've gone to a few parties. I've gone to a mixer to apply to a screenwriting competition. I love it. And I've met people at each and every turn. I do remember at the Chamber of Commerce, people some folks being like, I hate mixers. I hate going to these things. I hate talking to people. And I'm like, oh, that's my favorite part. I do love it. In fact, I love it so much. Here's what I don't like. I don't like the club. I don't like going to clubs. I don't like going to bars. I just feel like people are just so fronting so much that they're pretending to be an image. And it's about being cool, maybe drinking a bunch of alcohol. I'm not a huge drinker. No, if you drink, that's fine. I have a little drink sometime, but I'm not so much into it that I want to go to a bar, because then I feel like, it takes me back to my days when I was real young and I really couldn't afford to go to bars. And I was like, because the drinks are expensive. And I was like, you literally piss your money away. Literally do it. So I can't do it. But if that's a way that you like to meet people, go for it. Instead, like I said, I like to go to a mixer. I like to go to a workshop, something where people are there immediately to be working on some type of skill or task, or really with the intention of we are trying to meet other like-minded people. And again, I really want to stress a big thing about collaborating is being about people who are like-minded as yourself. If you got a goal, you're trying to do something, and you really feel like, this is in my heart, I can't let it go. I can't let this idea go. I really want to do it. Then you got to get around people who are also feeling that way about doing something similar. You want to be a musician? I wanted to be a musician. I didn't have any musicians in my family, so I don't want to lie to you. My family was not being like, hey, go out there. They were like, get a job. And I was just like, yeah, no. I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do the artist hustle. And I love it. And it has really turned into something for me. So what is it? Community college classes. I got to stop stuttering. I got to work. I talk too fast. I've heard that. I'm going to slow down. Community college classes, mixers. Yes. Then I'm trying to think of some other random ways that you can just go out and meet people. You can be really bold and put yourself out there. Hi. You can try the email approach. I've joined some platforms sometimes and just kind of doing just cold calling. I call it phishing. Like I've joined some platforms for musicians and reached out to other musicians on the same platform. Hey, my name's mikO. I play guitar. Are you looking for a guitar player? Are you looking for a songwriter? Be aware of all the different things that you can offer to someone. And that's a really big part too about meeting people, is offer them something. Don't just go there with your hand out. Oh, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this. Put me on, put me on, put me on. Everybody wants to be put on, but I mean, there really are so many resources. And I say that in both ways, to be like, there are a lot of resources we can all eat if we really work together, but there are also limited resources. So some people, even people who you think are really successful, you would think, hey, if I get hooked in with them, then it'll totally work out. And you might not know, they might have some fame, but they don't have fortune. It goes so many different ways. So definitely put yourself out there. and offer things to people. When I was giving lessons, here I am in the Bay Area, Oakland. There is a music group from here, R&B group called Tony. And one of the artists from there, one of the members, Dwayne Wiggins, rest in peace, D-Wig, rest in peace. He passed away recently, but he definitely likes to link up with a lot of musicians, up and coming musicians, definitely too, in Oakland. And I did see him out walking on the street one day, and I was thinking, oh, I want to work with this guy. I want to find out, can he teach me something about making money, making a living as a musician? And instead of going up to him like that, I knew he had some kids, and I was like, well, I give lessons. Are you looking for a guitar teacher for your kids? That was my way in. From that, you guys can go and check out, there was a group called Pop Life. They were runners up on America's Got Talent. Two or three of those kids, I think, in that group I worked with at some point. Two of them were his son. One was his nephew. And it was a great experience for me. It was totally great to have that network, to have that connection. When you go out to meet people, the really successful thing is to offer them something. And also get their information. Don't just give your information to people and be like, how come they aren't calling? Get their information. Call them. Call them up. Hey, you got some, can I help you with something? Can I work for free for you? Can we do something? I see you're trying to do this. You got a problem. How can I solve it? When you are offering services to people, you're really putting yourself in that mind state, that mental state to really be an entrepreneur, really be successful, because it is about offering services. That is the very nature of business here, right? And just being friendly. I also want to encourage, I want to caution about how people are critical sometimes. Just how we criticize ourselves. Some people kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the really critical people that I've come across in my course of my musicianship, which, maybe it could be my own ear, me talking to myself, being overly harsh. But I want you to think, when you're walking into a room, I want you to think, if there are 100 people in that room, and say you walk in and you feel self-conscious in any way, I want you to be thinking that those other, it was a room of 100, those other 99 people, I want to bet that most of the people, 90 of those people, are thinking about themselves and their insecurities as well. When I walk into a room, I do not think about my insecurities. I have insecurities. I'm not going to tell you that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that. But when I walk into a room, I do not think about my insecurities. Instead, I accept that if we're playing it, it's a numbers game. Everybody else is thinking about their insecurities. They're thinking about their faults. And that is a way to go in there and walk in. And some people might walk in and be like, great, I can totally manipulate this room and make them do whatever I want. For me, I'm thinking I can be whoever I want in this room. And I am not worried in any way what people are going to think, because they're too busy thinking about themselves. So walk in there with your most authentic self. Be free. Be open. Don't think that people just want to shut you down. But don't be so afraid to meet new people, because you're like, oh, I hate this. It could go so bad. And it could. But put yourself in a positive mental state that it could go really well. I always try to tell people that when they're coming up with a list of this could happen, that could happen, and there are all these negative things. The first thing I'm thinking, all right, you just thought of 3 bad things that could happen in this situation. I want you to think of 3 good things that could happen. So we have balance, because that's fair. That's fair. It's fair to be realistic and be like, okay, something like this could happen. But you could walk in there, and after hearing no your entire life, that could be the room, that could be the day, that could be the moment you finally hear yes. So you want to be able to embrace that. You want to walk in there and going, all right, I can be myself. There's something in here for me, and I'm going to find someone and offer them something as well. So you got a lot to offer. That's the big takeaway. You got a lot to offer. Get out there, meet people, know the different ways you like to meet people. Like I said, I don't really like bars. I don't really like clubs so much. But if you telling me, hey, we've got this fundraiser. Oh, we've got a house party. Oh, do you? Oh, Oh, we've got this little event. It's a going away party at work. Oh, is it going to be free snacks? Do you remember that? What is The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson would say how when he was younger, he was so poor. He would go to the meetings for his football team, even though he didn't actually have to be there, but he was just so hungry and they had free food. Oh my God, that was my life. That was my life younger as a musician. Yeah, there's always snacks. Now, of course, my personal trainer doesn't like to hear that because she thinks I snack too much. But hey, I love free food. I'm an artist. Sometimes that's how they pay you. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I hope that this has encouraged you to get out there. That's really the next big step. And like I said, all this year, I've just been going out meeting folks. And here we are in December, episode 4 of 15 Minutes to Fame, getting ready to hit 2026 with a bang. And it's so weird, actually, after being laid off, not traumatic. It was fine. I've had my breather. I'm really glad that it didn't work out in that way, being at that place, because it would have really limited me. I'm thinking of just everything that I've done since February, and I wouldn't have had the time to do that if I had been there. So rejection really is redirection. And I've met so many people, and actually here we are. I feel like I'm starting to get to the end of the year, and I am starting to pick up a lot more gigs, and I'm really happy about that. And it does remind me of actually one of the first times I ever got laid off. I immediately was able to build my guitar lesson business. So that is another thing. I went into the situation already with a positive outlook. Like I said, I've been here before. I've done a few things, so I know how to really pull something really, really good out of this. So I want you to encourage you to get out there, meet people. I'm going to keep talking about this some more in some future episodes. Again, I want to remind you, this is 15 Minutes to Fame, where I just talk about what my artist hustle is. I hope to encourage you to just tackle everything in small little chunks, because it's a bunch of little successes built up over time is how we create longevity. Again, follow, like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can definitely comment too. Send me messages. I love that as well. Visit my website, www.mikotolliver.com. And you can also follow me around on social media at mikO Tolliver. I'm on IG a lot. I'm on TikTok a little bit, but I feel like IG is kind of my thing. So Instagram. And also here, if you're watching or listening on YouTube, follow, like, subscribe, share. And check me out on Patreon. I definitely can always use your support to keep this going as I continue to build this. This is turning into something really great. And I'm really excited too, again, for 2026. I'm going to be having some of my friends come and hang out with me. Are you checking this out? I moved this around. I feel like I'm still playing with angles of how I want to do it, but I was here. Shout out to my man, Cole Sexton, who is here. You can't see him. He's behind the screen. He's moving and working the camera and stuff and pressing start and stop. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, 15 Minutes to Fame. I'm mikO Tolliver. I will see you next time. Happy New Year.